All you hoes, you and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. All you hoes don't give a damn what you wanna do.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
Chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
Chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
Chaos.
let that chaos reign with.
Must reign.
Yes. Welcome, guys. Welcome here to another edition, another live stream, another podcast here on the Chaos Rain Show. You know me, I am Chaos Rain. Today. Oh, interesting facts that I've come across my little, daily. And I sometimes don't read too much, but when I do open the book, I sometimes get into the spirit to see what I have available. And I just open the book once in a while and start reading some literature. And one of the books I have came across was Frank Lucas. And it was something that I was thinking of owning a gangster book from a gangster himself. This book came out now 15 years ago. It came out in 2011. As you know, Frank Lucas, I cover on this particular channel, which can go back when he met his death or when he died of 2019. That was a period of 8 years after the first of his, or the only release of his proclaimed book called Original Gangsters, the real life stories of the one of America's most notorious drug lords, Frank Lucas. And this is written by or given by with Alicia S. King. Or Alas King. I don't know. I think she's like a co-author. But nonetheless, the purpose of this stream, and I have my special guest, which I'll put in the screen. Y'all familiar with the brother. He goes by name Brendan Jones. And he has covered many subjects in regards to psychology, people's how people think and do, and other deep topics. So no further ado, I'll bring up my guest again, the return of the one only Brendan Jones. What's good, Brendan? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing, Chaos? Good to see
I
you.
am doing wonderful. Yes, wonderful. And this is Brendan Jones. He's back. I love the background, man. See, that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about right there. You had the promo, man. You got the symbol of the Universal Jones right here. Yes. I tell you, Brendan's coming up in life. He's stepping up in life. You know.
I hope so, man. You know, I'm really gonna push forward in 26 on YouTube and other social media with more information, more content. So hopefully I'll get somewhere soon. I'm approaching 1,000 subs on my YouTube channel now.
I think this is the right time now in the rise of artificial intelligence. And as you know, we're not sure how things are certain right now, Brendan. So if you're not pushing what you're doing, is this the right time now to make a strong push now? Right. I'm not saying you should do what you have to do or do other things besides this social media or YouTube, but I will advise you, this is the time now. You get me? Yeah. Because like me, I've been grinding this now for 6 and now 7. This is 7 years now since 2019. As you know, even reaching the monetization of this channel was a struggle in itself, but I appreciate the journey. It took me 4 years. You get me? And absolutely. I think I was going to get there, but I got there. And eventually, as you know, YouTube or any other social media is an up and down field. But the one thing is consistent that we should always keep aware as you how consistent you are, the better outcomes you're going to receive. You know what I'm saying? And besides, when you go live, it's not you just go live just is. You go live with some of a purpose. And that's something I respect about you you know?
Thank you.
So now, no further ado, because I know some people watch it. Make sure you guys hype the video after watching this. And also give this video a like. And if you're not subscribed to me or Brendan, and I'll put this @ symbol at the end of the stream, please subscribe to the channel if you can. Now, as you know, Brendan, the purpose of this stream, for those that are not familiar, Frank Lucas talks about his life, and he talks about his life in detail of what he has experienced from himself, from a young boy up to adult age, up to nearly, after he did his time in prison, which, we're going to go all into Frank's life, but we're going to go into early stage that caught my attention, that I'm somewhat of aware since I've been knowing about abuse and sexual exploitation, to the point that boys do get exploited and they do get exploited sexually in a way. But it goes beyond from the modern time for the last 20, 30 years. This is something that we hear stories way back then, but we did not know when it comes to in our community, that when we hear about sexual abuse or, touching, for lack of better words, because I'm going to keep it as PG as possible, but y'all understand what I'm talking about. When someone has been, taken advantage of sexually, Frank Lucas, like many young boys, is no exception to that rule.
Correct.
Now, how can I prove this? I will do y'all something special. It's 2 pages, but I'm gonna read and you guys make your own judgment. You get me? And for the most women that will never come across this page, I don't expect it, but I expect more men to watch this and come across more. The purpose of this stream is for information and clarity. And I'm only reading what the information has said. Whether you like to believe or not, this is what is written from his own experience and from his own words. And this book is now 15 years old. So not something that Frank will tell you is no lie. And when I read to y'all for the first time, you have a more clear understanding and what I'm getting at this subject matter of childhood. And like I said, the title itself is Frank Lucas' Childhood, and was he a sexually exploited or misunderstood or whatever? Because that's something that, like I said, I took the book just to read about his life, but this was the first few pages of his book. And it shines a light about what you did, Brandon, on your stream a week ago, I believe, in regards to the female predators. And it's not just a white woman thing. This is any woman, especially talking about America. Now, we can't talk about our communities because when we hear about the word sexual predarization, it goes back to man predatoring woman. And I always believe that as a man as well when I hear about it. But as I come across other men, and they show me more evidence about it, it lets me to think deeply about this predatory thing. You get me? Hold on.
Switch.
All right. So my thing is this. I'm here for the information and laying out information alone. So no further ado, let me get to it. I'm gonna show you the 2 pages, and I'm gonna read from the just the pages alone. And hope. And if you have any questions, Brandon, you can stop me because I read this not once but twice. Because sometimes when you read something, it didn't catch. I thought I was like reading something false, but when I read it again, a second time, I started to really understand what Frank was going at. You get me?
Gotcha.
And mind you, in this community, for people who don't know, when boy gets, taken advantage of first time sexually, in our community is considered, I'm sorry to say this, a rites of passage, where it said, well, at least you got some. But we don't understand that there's implications, the psychological problems with this in the society. It's not like we were groomed in our own structural neighborhoods, how we were before colonization, that everything was prepared for us. You get me? From how to prepare meals, how to do simple tasks, to including how to deal with relationships, including, preparing for husband and wife. We lost that. Come over here. So anything we do outside our normal, subways before influence of Eurocentric influence, we're doing things, unfortunately, like, was it Amos Will said best, backwards? Yeah, so. All right, so no further ado, I'm going to read. This is this is page 20 for 21. As you know, I put the points of, interest. So I'm going to read to y'all what I'm getting at as y'all feel me. Let me see, let me fast forward. Let me find the text here because I can't read it on this screen. I kind of put it in words so I could synthesize it. There we go. All right. And it says here, page 20. One morning, about 3 months after I arrived, I woke up and it was a cold as black whore heart. The kids were all away at school. And now, mind you, this is a backstory. Frank Lucas he left his hometown in North Carolina as as a young boy, not a teenager yet, to get away from the rules of North Carolina. So he was like any child, homeless, scrapping, fighting food. And then he came across this lady and her kids in their house. So that's what I'm reading right now. The backstory of his experience living with a woman, a grown adult woman, and her kids as a young boy going to be on a teenager, young teenager, very young teenager. I think around 13 or 14 of age. All right, let me continue reading. That's the background for those that don't know. The kids were all away at school, and it was usual just as in the house in the morning. Oh, before I continue, do I have echoes, Brendan? Make sure I'm gonna echo my.
You're coming through clear on my end.
All right, good. All right, so I'll make sure. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Let me see. Mrs. Jones was a bootlegger, and she started mixing her batch early in the morning while I would go out and run the streets, gambling, fighting, and whatever else. My favorite thing to do was go to the pool hall near the bus station. I was learning a mean game of pool from a couple of older guys who hung out there all day. I took quickly to the game, and they even started having me play for money against other men. This morning, before leaving the pool hall, I went into the main room to get the fire started as usual. From the area where the fireplace was located, I could see where Mrs. Jones slept. Usually she was covered up in the blankets, sleeping heavily until the small house was warm. But this time, she was already awakened. Morning, I said using the poker to stoke the ember. I guess I'm gonna send fire or something. Miss Jones stretched her legs and saw her brown foot, ankle, leg, and then thighs creeping into view. I turned around quickly and focused back on the fire. Now remember, I'm barely 13 years of age. That's the key point. So I'm not sure if he's 13 yet or he's about to turn 13. I'll let y'all think on that. And this woman was old enough to be my grandmother. Woo! I mean, she's like 30 or more years difference from Frank Lucas at that time. I mess around with young girls my age in North Carolina, here and there, but nothing serious. But Mrs. Jones was a whole different story. She was a grown woman. I could hear Mrs. Jones sit up in bed. Frank, what you working with over there? And I guess she said, excuse me. And then she says, come here, Frank. I walk over to the side of her bed. Keep my head down. So I guess he don't want to be eyeballing her for lack of better. Page 21. Yes, Ma. This is Frank. Look at me. That's what she said, Miss Jones said. I look up. Miss Jones might have been an older woman, but she sure was pretty. Cocoa brown skin, full lips, great head of hair. She pulled the covers back, and I like to had a heart attack. If y'all know what I mean. What's next? They got all this where you come from in North Carolina? Frank says, reckon they do. I said, running a hand over my face. You know what to do with it? I reckon I do, I say. Well, let's go. After a few months of our new arrangement, it was time for me to move on. I never been one to live off someone, blah, blah, blah. I just didn't feel right. I need to make my own money. I don't think Mrs. Jones had any idea how young I was. Oh, she knew how young you were, boy. By the time I was 13, I was as tall as I am right now. Now that's how tall Frank is. I don't know if he's 5'7", 5'8". I got to double check his height. And I was often mistaken for someone so much older. Only old Jimmy Reed was able to see that I was just a kid. Everyone else treated me as if I were at least 5 or 10 years old. And so after 5 months, Miss Jones and I had our separate ways. I ended up working near blah, blah, blah. Okay, and that's it. Now, everybody's wondering why did I read that part? Now, he said that he did somewhat had messed around before his time. from what it's read. But the deeper point is that older women at that time, now I'm not sure how we'll be now today in our time, might not be different much now, as you know how society is going, that this is not something new that old women or women take liking on younger men. They think this is something that was recent from this, like you said, Brandon, on your own broadcast. School teachers, right? And school teachers nowadays dealing with students might be a decade older, roughly, depending on the age, or maybe older. But the point is this, that these women do take liking if they're older and they're not married, or let's say they just want to, get their freak on or something. They will fancy a younger man, and a man maybe barely legal. You know what I'm saying? And this side nowadays, they might look at down on it right now if it's presented, but overall, it's not a big deal because, as you know, Brandon, you cover this, right? That women that go out the way messing with younger dudes, it's only a slap in the wrist. But if a man does it, he go to jail and he stay in jail if he's not lucky. So now that I read this, what's your view and take on this? And let me just show the other page. You see this.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I haven't read this book. I am familiar with Frank Lucas and his story to a certain extent. Since I haven't read the book, I'm not too familiar with his experience around being sexually abused. But I can correlate it to my experience being a therapist and just my experience on hearing various different stories of victims, especially Black American victims, and how they've been coerced. One thing that we don't talk about enough in this country, period, no matter what your race or ethnicity is the sexual abuse amongst young boys, both from male perpetrators and female perpetrators. Female perpetrators don't get the same type of scrutiny as male perpetrators for various different reasons. However, their tactics as predators on children are very similar, and there's really no difference. And you said it when you were explaining when you were reading that a lot of times you have male victims, and that's a rite of passage that they have sex with an older woman, and that even though they're denying abuse. So, my experience again has been mostly professional. I have never experienced sexual abuse directly. However, I have had passes of one pass of a woman that was older than me when I was probably like 15. Now I wasn't attracted to the woman, and it was like my aunt's friend, so it wasn't something that I was interested in. But I'm pretty sure if I had a level of attraction to her, she definitely could have took advantage of me for sure.
Oh yeah. She'll be down, and she'll sneak in some way or how, to let her know that how much she will take liking of you, And let me check the chat room. Okay, someone is probably commenting on another platform. That's fine. Hello, welcome. Let me see what this is. I just want to acknowledge whoever's in the chat. Let me see. This is T. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. So.
Salute to Tina.
Yeah, Tina. For Frank Lucas, right? Now he said it was to him. He didn't think it was a big deal, but like I said back then, to allow us to understand that young Black men today, like him, that's not even barely considered legal at that time. And usually legality back in the late 30s or actually 40s, actually, I think might be somewhat the same. I got to check what was the laws of what legal age or consent was. I think it's no different now because if it's in North Carolina or some part of Kentucky, I think it's 17 or something. I don't know. The laws are pretty consistent throughout the decades. So if I really go back, it's probably the same now. But the point is this, that, to Frank's knowledge, he never think that he was, taken advantage of, but he was in a way. Because imagine if he just said no. You get me? He'd be thrown out.
Correct.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter what the laws are. When it comes to the amount of abuse that happens, I think the bigger issue here is not what the law states, but we have an element of humans who find children to be sexually attractive and want to engage in having sex with children. That's a major problem. If you're, my thought process is this. If you're within that high school range, it might make some sense. So like, let's say you are, a 19-year-old person and you're attracted to a 15-year-old. I mean, you two went to high school together essentially. So it makes some sense there, but it still doesn't make it legally right. But if you're 40 years old and you're trying to have sex with a 14, 15, 16-year-old, that's a problem. And I think that we don't often carry the same level of distinction when it comes to the male female dynamic, and then how vast the age gap is between people. And right here, what you're talking about back in these times, the age people didn't. I mean, people pretty much turned a blind eye to these age differences. It was a lot more acceptable than it is now. But even with it not being acceptable now, a lot of child sexual abuse happens because we have a culture of complacency and acceptance, and we don't say anything about it.
Yes. And a lady wrote in the chat room, and I think she, if right, Tina 1996, yeah, Tina, yes, turned 30. Welcome, congratulations, welcome to the 30 Club, Tina. Your question asked. I know that because y'all people tell you stuff with numbers, but anyway, why do you think that is? I think it's because of a stunt of mental growth. That's the question she directly asked.
Yeah, she says she's still 29. Yeah, don't give her 30 yet.
Don't worry, baby. It's coming. This is don't worry. But we're gonna answer your question. Don't worry about that. When you get 30,
worry, baby.
come back to my channel and say it's my birthday. And I'm gonna wish you a birthday.
Hey, she's still gonna be a baddie at 30. It's all good. So
she'll be good. She good. I don't know what she look, but that's all.
Stunted mental growth may be part of it, but I think it's more about control. A lot of these predators, they want to have sex with children because they want to control them. They want to dominate them. And what's like the most purest form of domination besides sex when it comes to two human beings? So it could be a mental health concern or issue. Absolutely. I think anybody who is sexually attracted to children, there's something wrong with their psyche, because I think for folks who are not sexually attracted to children, we know that there's something, deep down wrong about that. But for these people, they don't have that same level of empathy or guilt, and they have this heightened level of attraction that also leads to a lot of strategy in how they operate in abusing children. To me, there has to be something mentally wrong with those individuals.
All right, I guess that answers the question. Let me see anybody else have a question. All right, yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. We got to keep in mind, and I'm convinced when they talk about, and I know a lot of women use this a lot, and I don't really go by their logic in the long run about this age of mental maturity.
Sure,
I know some people that are in their mid-20s that still has not matured.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure where people keep talking about say it's better off waiting for somebody wait till they hit over 25.
Yeah,
and I don't go by that logic. Whoever told y'all that, or whoever studies that, is not factual. Most human beings in this society are mentally not mature, and they will never get to that point unless they have made the constitution become mature. Now, a lot of people say, I would say maybe in their 30s they'll get it, but how people are raised and how they're structured in the society and how their upbringings, a lot of them see the maturity or become mature until something happens in life. To be honest with you, that's my understanding of things. This age factor thing, I never did follow it. I think to me that most people push that is mostly, and I don't want to say it's ladies, but I'm keeping honest. When y'all ladies talk about this with women dealing with older men, on the average. Now, mind you, if this is all factual, I mean, if we had to wait to somebody 25, it should be all cross boards. But we all know that's not the case. You're picking and choosing. I don't do pick. I say, are you mature at this age? By the time you hit this age, life should hit you harder. You should be more cognizant of what you're doing. You should be more attentive and move beyond as you get older. That maturity starts to follow, and that does not happen with a whole lot of human beings, especially women. So I don't go by that. And let me see. She writes again. Oh, she writes another question. Okay. I think it could also be ignorance. If you grew up in a house where the majority of ignorance, I mean, you don't mature normally. Yeah, it does. Oh, and one thing for Teeny, because you didn't put a super chat, try not to put all caps. The bot will spam it. No all caps, please. I think, and let me tell you why. And I got ladies. Sorry, Brandon. And this some you got to learn too.
Go ahead.
All caps is a form of attention. I don't want y'all that's on chat rooms trying to get attention, especially the super chat. If you're not gonna pay for a question that you think needs to be attentive, that's fine. But keep your questions as regular, like regular sentencing. That's why I've made a conscious effort that no one can put all caps on here. I've noticed that's very too much attention and it's not shown respect to the channel. Now you would say something, Brendan?
If she wants attention, she got mine. But I was gonna say to her point, she's right, right? So she says, I think it could also be ignorance. If you grow up in a household where the majority is ignorant, I mean, don't you mature normally? You don't mature normally. And I think your environment plays a huge role in your maturity levels, and also your family dynamic, what you're expected to do, what you're not expected to do, what's the maturity level of your parents or those adults that are within that realm of you. All that plays a difference. And I think one thing that we got to make clear is there's a difference between mental maturity and your ability to think and use abstract thinking and things of that nature versus your emotional maturity, which is your ability to utilize your emotional intelligence, which I think a lot of people struggle with. And when it comes to relationships, that's where most of the issue is your emotional maturity. A lot of people haven't dealt with their stuff. They haven't been able to process their baggage in unhealthy relationships or the trauma that they've seen between their parents, or didn't even see because their parents weren't there. Like there's a lot of gaps that people have as they're engaging in relationships with one another. When it comes to these predators, I think that these people are high functioning individuals. They utilize a lot of emotional tactics to lure children into sexual dynamics. Look at this lady's story, right? She finds this young boy who is destitute. He doesn't have anywhere to go, and she offers him a home. That's not uncommon for a lot of predators. They find a kid who's kind of lingering, who's not really being supervised very well by their parents or caregivers and need something. And those predators often have something to give. So this lady had a home for him. But you have to ask yourself, why is this 13, 14-year-old boy out on the streets on his own? What happened to his family dynamics? See, it all gets back to family dynamics at the end of the day. So he's out there. She catches him. He's doing all these good deeds, as you can see from his story. He has kind of a routine, a daily routine. He goes and does this. He starts a fire. He helps with the kids and all this stuff. And then finally she waits to that day where her hormones are raging and she's horny, and she decides to take a shot at him. And even in his innocence, you can hear him tell a story, and his innocence leaves the door. That's the trade-off for a lot of black males, unfortunately. They get finessed by older girls. Sometimes they're not even that much older. They might be like, you might be 13, they might be 19, but that can happen. And now his childhood is gone. His innocence is gone. And what we've done in the black community, because it happens so often, is we flipped it and said, oh, that's a rites of passage. Now he's a man because he got sexually exploited by an older woman.
And one thing I do, if you want to go dabble more into this, the emotional intelligence piece of things, because I've been hearing the word emotional intelligence, and the first time I heard that is women want men to be more emotionally intelligent. Is that a factual thing, or that's something that was created, some buzzwords for another form of control? Women want to use the slave. I mean, no, seriously, because I hear them use these words. I'm looking for emotional intelligence, this, that. And I never really question, but because you're in the field, I like to ask somebody more intuitive on this. What's your view on that?
Yeah. So the way you phrase the question, I can say it's probably a little bit of both. There's definitely some buzz into it because it's a kind of a pop culture concept. So yeah, there's a little bit of that. But honestly, in this society, men need to be emotionally intelligent. Whether you're talking about dating, whether you're talking about being in a workplace situation, whether you're talking about general socialization, you do need to develop your emotional intelligence. I don't think that's an anti-male thing. I think that's a thing that is a signal to how you need to operate in today's world, where you do need to up your emotional intelligence. Now, what is emotional intelligence? Let's break it down. It's your self-awareness and your ability to self-manage your emotions. Now, you don't dictate your emotions. Your emotions happen, but you have to figure out how to manage them when they show up. It's also your social awareness, which is how are other people responding to you. And then it's your relationship management. How do you manage the dynamics between you and other people? I don't see why men would not want to perfect those skills, especially in today's world that is hyper emotional, where people want you to know all their business right away, you definitely need to have good social emotional intelligence skills to navigate this society.
Excellent, 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 excellent. And what's up, Snowman? How you doing?
Salute the snowman.
Yeah, yeah, I think a lot of people in society, especially men, we should be very much multifaceted, like Charles said, and a lot of things we do than just being brute force. We're going out there to start using our minds, some form of intelligence, if anything, to operate in this uncertain society we're in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that also comes around with certain women.
Yeah.
Women use labels all. Come here, they say women use more words than men, and I'll give them that. So the words they're using as a man, you have to really conceptualize and really clearly analyze what they're really saying, meaning. Because when we open our mouths, what we say overall, we mean something. And at times we have to say it multiple times to a lot of ladies because they go by the more feelings aspect.
Correct.
And we have to really break it down to a point where we're hoping it goes beyond their feelings, because we don't want to deal with feelings in regards when we deal with logic and a lot of things we do. You get me?
I do get you, but in
Yeah.
this, I'm telling you, man, in this society we're in now, it's not even what these women are saying. You have to understand what they're not saying. You got to read between the lines. They'll say a lot, but they will be sending you these hidden signals in what they're saying. So you have to be able to decipher between them just talking and being emotional versus what they truly want. Always pay attention to a woman's actions before you pay attention to her words.
Mhm.
And then plan accordingly based on that.
Yeah. And that's the best way to go about it. Yeah. I totally agree with that. Another hint, besides the Frank Lucas thing, and I advise people to get the book still, because because I always like to delve in the mind of many men that came and go, especially men that have criminal minds, not alleged, like Frank Lucas, but it tells a good backdrop of what developed the man that we see before today. And we go beyond the movies, because when this book came out, I think American Gangster came out that same year or the year before. Let me see. I think it came out the same year. The actual movie. Yeah, I think it did. I'll double check. But I remember, no, actually it came out 2010. American Gangster. Or is it 2007? Let me check when American Gangster came out, the movie. American Gangster. Oh, yeah, I was right. Damn. This movie came out 4 years before the actual book came out. The book came out in 2011. This came out 2007. Okay. So this is something that he was in the works before coming out with actually the film itself. And so I go beyond the film itself. You got to have to read and know the man personally. And let's keep it real, guys. Not all people back then that write books back then, even now, are able to write. They have people that help them, especially the notoriety and the popularity of the person eventually comes with their own autobiography. Not many come up. A lot of guys that are living a life writes books like that. You get me? So what you're seeing, this is just a testament of Frank Lucas' life, and people that were close to him help him got his book like this. Help formulate and wrote this book for him. You get me? Come here, Bumpy Johnson. I was gonna get his book, but one elder told me that Bumpy Johnson, because he was from the same state where Frank was, but Frank was in North Carolina. Bumpy was in South Carolina. These brothers back then don't really know how to read. So I'm saying, don't read. How do they come with books? Well, people close to them writes the books or tell stories from what their own experience about them. You get me?
Yeah.
So what you're reading now is the experience that he has told verbatim, and someone helped to write down his life stories in this book, in my opinion.
Right.
So it's always good that there's always actual story tell, and someone helped to formulate into words so we could consume it in today's literature. Because no one's gonna tell a story for you, especially the movies. The movies depict his life, but you're not gonna really know the man until you actually read the book from his own words. And I think this goes more further than anything else. I see more people in the chat room. Who's this?
Yeah, that's Napstar.
Tina, that is too smart for you. Okay. Interesting.
Salute to Napstar.
I love it. Okay. Oh, they must be close friends, you know. You know, the Discord it'd be funny sometimes, Brandon. I would tell you offline, but I'm telling you right now, the Discord you have, bro.
It's a very active,
There's
crazy.
a language, bro. These ladies, I don't know, man. That's what they be. You look
Hey
at
man,
all
we have a lot
smart.
of smart ladies in that Discord who don't take any crap, and salute to them. And we got a lot of smart men who don't take any crap as well.
I don't mind that they don't take a crap, but how language?
Yeah, there's some potty mouths though. There's definitely
It's
some
like,
sailors in
damn.
my
I said, I hope
Discord.
you guys don't got no YouTube channel. You say them things, you're gonna lose your channel.
Well, some of
No.
those folks are content creators. They do have channels.
Oh well, you know they're definitely not using that language on their own channel, especially the monetized. You
No,
better
yeah,
not.
that's- yeah.
I know ladies will be say, all right, beep.
Yeah.
Damn. What's up?
Well, that's why they let it fly in
I said,
Discord. You know,
yes.
there's no TOS in Discord, so they let it fly.
Man. I tell people, and I got a Discord. My Discord's not that live. I wish it was a little bit more active, but now I think about it, I don't know if I wanted that active. Now I think about it.
It could be dangerous. It could be dangerous.
Listen, we being watched, man. Y'all guys got to watch your mouths, man. People watching these digital circuits. So y'all seeing all that now, man. They send it. Okay, we're just collecting data.
Yeah, screenshots. You know,
yeah, we're looking at all this. I'm saying, you're a woman. Yeah, you look like you hate the opposite, you know, gender. Which I don't have the problem. Which to me, I'm against the opposite. You know, those people over there. I don't like that. But I don't make a broadcast too much on my channel like I used to. If I talk about it, I talk about an honest truth. I don't use foul language. But I came to a point that I can't really talk more about this opposite people because they have fulfilled the goal. And this is since 1969 up to 2019-ish, 2020, I think it was fulfilled over a span of, I think it's 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. Yeah. And what I mean by that, and I'm shifting gears here a little bit, because we got like maybe another 15 minutes, maybe 16 minutes of your time. I didn't want to talk about on my channel, but I'll talk about anyway since I talked about Frank Lucas and this woman predatoring him. Yeah, it goes in line with the Epstein situation. And how ironic, and I said this, and some people might agree with me, that does content. The Epstein files, to people that don't know, is the greatest distraction known to man. And let me tell you why. This man will not be doing anything at any given time without anybody's support financially. For him to do operation with not only women, but also underage young people, or what they call children, he cannot do it solely off his pockets. He got people in high places. The people that you see that they put out slowly but surely every week, every 2 weeks about who was on that file. I'm hoping most of people here in America, let's be honest, have the decent common sense, not intelligence, to know saying the people you see that they put out one by one, you should assume that those are everybody that's in higher realms, higher in regards to notoriety, money, they were all involved with this dude. You get me? This little dossier that they put out, soldier, is a great distraction that's already been revealed that anybody that got big money or celebrities or known name, you're going to be known in those files. Think about this. I want to shift gears and follow me here. When P. Diddy had those parties, he had mostly black celebrities and some non-black celebrities. The point is this: they took all his evidence and they got it now. Why? Why did they grab it? Because, and this is not going to sound nice to a lot of people don't understand this. I know you have children and you have girls, and they're not adults yet. And I want every parent to hear me well. Listen good. They are preparing the public now with this revealing that now they're saying we are now moving to the final stage, and that is getting children officially. Now, a lot of people say, what are you talking about, Cass? And listen to me good. I had a friend named Dr. Ray Short. He came on my channel back when I started doing content in 2019. I have a video that I don't know if I can find on my channel right now. He shows me the pedo act that they were slowly trying to push or roll in 7 years ago. Now I talked to our age. What do you mean pedo? So you tell me they trying to make it legal for adults to mess with younger people? And he told me yes. And he showed me the documents. Most people that were signing off this were head of top politicians. Do you know one of them names that's on that file? Maxine Waters. And I was shocked. So wait, so why? Oh, now I see what's going on. Because people don't know that there's a correlation between why they're increasing degeneracy here in America. How they do that? They go to the psychology books. Now I know you have your background in psychology, and you probably know it's better in history. I just did brief history of psychology. I think Frances Cress was talking about this in her book, the ISIS Papers, one time. She said homosexuality was a disorder up until 1973. That year, 1972, when they start remove it, and next year it's gone. And they're baffling me is why they went now to start moving. Now we look at almost 50 or close to 50 years. Near almost 50 years there. Now they're stepping forward to say now we're going to start remove the pedo in the books. What's the purpose of us? Because now the whole end game is to do what you want with children without the people getting an outrage. You see people now surprised and shocked and outraged. Yes, you should be shocked and outraged, but this was not for people that's a certain age. This conditioning was designed for people that's coming up on you. The ones that's young, that's going to be adults. They're trying to make this officially normalized. Now, people say, how can we prove it? Look at your media. Look at the videos, the films. How you make people comfortable to make things acceptable? You have to slowly, digitally touch them, if you know what I mean, in their heads, mentally. Once it gets comfortable at this point, now you can slowly remove the lid, the sickness off. And now next you go see people in real time. It's a process. It's a stage of process they're doing. So this thing with Epstein, this is just the overall conclusion that's already here and what is to come. They just don't go out the way now to start show all this information now, this present day. No, they're preparing the public now, officially now. And I think Jason Black said best, Brendan, this guy might not be dead. And I have to agree, because this man was very powerful at the time. Because he had a lot of powerful people under his wing that was paying him a lot of money in the millions. Like even with the Hitler thing, where the Hitler wasn't dead. And I didn't want to believe that because that's a long time ago. But when I look at people that do things, unless you see them really gone, deleted, you never know. They'll tell you anything. You get me? But that's just my thing. I'm not going to go any further than that, but go ahead. Sorry.
Honestly, man, I think people are putting too much effort into if he's dead or not, and not looking at the reality of what he's been able to do. And by the way, if you think that Jeffrey Epstein is the only Jeffrey Epstein out here, you're missing the plot.
Oh, yes.
There's so much sexual abuse that takes place around this world. It's a global system. It's an economic engine. There's no way that one man is leading that. This is a cooperative effort into abusing children. And if we're going to keep it a buck, young women. So at the end of the day, Jeffrey Epstein is just one of many people who have that level of power, leverage, and supremacy, if we want to use that term. I think that people are reading into the files the wrong way. They're too busy looking for sensationalism and what's happening with celebrities and not looking at the coordination and operation of what this was. These people created a culture around abuse with coded language, resources, scheduling, timing, vast connections. I mean, he was communicating with people from different countries. At this point, this is not just one man. This is an institution of abuse. And most people are too afraid to look at it from that angle or not smart enough to understand what's really happening. Jeffrey Epstein's gone, but sexual abuse will live on for a long time because we're too afraid to tell the truth about an issue like this and watch and do something about it. And we rather look and see if Diddy and Jay-Z and Pusha T's names are in the files with Bill Clinton and the rest instead of understanding what we're really looking at.
Thank you for telling. That's well said, and that's something that I want people to really clearly understand, that we're looking into it too much. That's why I tell people it's the greatest distraction, because they're analyzing too much. First of all, no man or woman today should be worshiping nobody. But we know in our communities, the one thing you know is, Brandon, I know is personally, our people worship too much celebrities. For them to find out that someone might be on those files or rumors of relationship in their own celebrity stage with their own family stuff and putting too much emphasis and time, I said, you wasting too much time in regards to dealing with your own family situation or issues. You get me? What they have problem is their problems. You get me? And we should, hold on. And really, truly, that's how I look at it. So let's say Jay-Z's on the file, say for Pusha T, which he's an artist. I'm looking at it saying, okay, so what this has to do with my situation, or even with any other black person to know a black celebrity was up in that island. All I know is when they start revealing the black celebrities, all I look at, like what's always been revealed from our old scholars, they're puppets. They're there to do a task. And once they're done with them, like anybody else, they'll discard them. And matter of fact, the black celebrities are easier to discard than in the other racial elements within the group, because they're the first to be up in the fire lines and the first to go. So if people paying attention and think that this is bad or any other celebrities on it, you're missing the point. That everybody that is making millions of dollars or higher ups or rubbing arms are in it, including the non-blacks that is known throughout history are still doing it as the predators. So I want people to be clear and honest that these files are just the biggest distraction, because you should, I'm not saying people should assume, but they should understand that anytime when the system decides to ante up who is the bad guy, you got to point two fingers and then say, well, you're the official bad guy, because why is these people allowed to do what they do while you stepping in, unless you're in the party? That's what I'm saying. That's how I look at it. Let me see if anybody's in the chat room. Nobody else in the chat room. Nope. That's how people gotta look at it. That's how you have to look at it. Don't be fall victim to the distractions or fall so into what is the gossip, because that's not gonna improve the outcomes on our people's lives. Most black celebrities, let's be honest, don't really serve use to the black community anyway. Regardless, they might give the little trinkets and they're not really serving no real significance. So anytime the system likes to, break their tools or the toys, it is part of the game. You got to charge to the game. Oh, are you here? I'm T. Okay, that's good. I know you're here. Okay. Oh, T, if you want to come up, since you're the only lady that's very active in the chat room, I'm gonna put the call link briefly. See if you want to come up. I doubt you might come up, but hell, I'm not scared. Listen, I'll put the call link for just a few people now for the last 5 or 6 minutes of this.
Don't doubt her. She might come up. She's about that life. So
okay. Well, I put the call link for anybody to come up. Let the people now speak, because we almost gone a whole hour of this. So I give people a few minutes to come up. Let me remove some things in the stream. And if you guys like the stream, hit the like button, please. And like always, please support the channel. And always, this is how I show or tell you how to support. Watch closely.
My money.
I told you.
Where is my money?
Betty, bring me everyone.
I need my money. I need my money.
What do you mean everyone?
Yes. Bring everyone. And y'all know where that I get that from, But like I said, support the channel, hit the super chat as well if you find it enticing. So Brandon, anything up and coming as we wait for somebody to come up? Like, do you have any plans up and coming streams?
Yeah. So I rebranded my channel. I am looking at doing more of a network model where I can kind of talk about several different topics and put them into series form. Right now, it's been pretty successful. Is I'm having a series with a friend of mine by the name of Lionel Suggs. He's an author and someone who's spent a significant amount of time being a social worker for people who've been sexually abused. That series is called Hidden Harms. We are approaching episode 7. We should be getting that episode out this weekend, where we're looking at various different levels of sexual abuse amongst children around the world. So that's one element. The next thing that I have going on the channel is the Universal Jones Show, which is kind of a reaction / kind of content development series where I'm giving out just information around personal development and reviewing other content that's connected to that. And then the third thing I have going on is something that I'm calling the Boyd Report. And you might not be familiar with Boyd, even though you actually may be considered a part of it, which is the bottom of YouTube. Is a term that's talking about this newfound ecosystem amongst what we would call the lower rungs of social media or YouTube. There's a community that's been formed that has a lot of toxicity in it. It's a very interesting sociological and psychological experiment that I'm going down, just watching what people are doing. So that's a little bit about what I got going on. Again, my channel is the Be Better Network. You can easily search that or search Universal Jones and find me. I think Tina's in the back. She said,
"Yeah, she come back. Yeah, she come back. I was gonna open up, but I just want you to say a thing. I'm waiting for her to come back. Come back. I didn't want to open up and then bye. Kind of like to introduce people. That's the first time in the channel. I just want to pop them up. She'll come back, hopefully. Tina, come back. I don't know if she got a call. Yeah, that sounds good. The Boyd report. I might pop up on that report depending on days you do it. So, cause that sounds more interesting.
Yeah.
That
The
one
bottom
right
of YouTube.
there.
I put out. There's an episode out now. Definitely check it out. I'm just kind of giving an introduction to
Was
what
it today?
Boyd is.
Because I got a notification. Was that one?
It was a couple of days ago, but I've been putting out a lot of content. I've been repurposing some of the older interviews and stuff that I have that are not too old and still relevant. So I've been repurposing content over the last few days. But yeah, the Boyd report came out on Monday, and I should probably have about 2 more episodes done before the end of this weekend.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure what days you have it, but if it was during the week, it's like Monday, Wednesday. What days you do that? Is it live stream or
Man, my life is so complicated, chaos, man. I can't even have a regular scheduled show, bro. I got to get them out when I can, because honestly, man, every day is something different for myself. So,
well, think about it. You are
a very busy man.
You're not only a businessman, but you are also a father raising your children out by yourself.
Correct.
And people always say that black men don't raise their kids. But stop it. He got all his kids, and he's still in one job. He got all. Listen, when you have girls, they're gonna run you.
I got. Yeah,
they're gonna run your head, bro. They're gonna run your head.
They rub my head and my pockets, man. So
don't worry about pockets. That's the name of the game. They're gonna run pockets. Say, Daddy, I need it. Listen, it's gonna get worse, bro.
Well,
wait till them turn 13, 14.
We're already there. You've known me for a while, and you probably don't realize how long we've known each other. My daughter is already almost 13, so my kids are already at that stage. I got a 12-year-old.
Oh shit!
So that's how long we've known each other. Like, because you remember my girls being really little. Like,
I seen pictures. Yeah, I know. Yeah, bro. Listen.
Yeah.
Usually, it's better if a parent have a son and a daughter, but when you have girls alone, man, if you're not making money, man, I don't know what you're gonna do. I mean, they're gonna ask for things. They're gonna have their hand up most of the time. They're gonna expect you to get this. Sometimes you have to be a father. You have to be strong. Say sometimes I gotta say no, baby, but you can't. And say, Daddy, please, and give you that puppy eyes, and then you gotta give it to him. I feel for you, bro, Brandon. I hope you don't get too great.
I'm a man. I'll get through it.
Don't get too many gray hairs, bro. They don't get some gray hairs. They try, and that at times, I don't got kids. I don't have this problem yet, but imagine with girls, man, it's the stress. You know what I'm saying? It's like the old comedian said best. He said, "Bills." And he looks at it and said, "Son, I look down on you. Why? Because one day you're gonna be paying bills."
Right. The circle of life, man. The circle of life,
man. Yeah. I don't know if Tina's coming back. I apologize, Tina, if I didn't pull you up, but you know how it is. I tell people be patient. I'll bring you up. We only got 2 more minutes left. The one thing I would say up and coming, I do have other channels. I have another channel, but normally the other channel I have, which I don't really talk about yet, is I talk about maybe those things like the files and other things that deals with, you know, the social issues. It's on the other channel. But normally here in the Chaos Rain Show, we don't do with more other open broader topics, you know, including some gossip here and there, and some reactions. Mostly this is the channel more based on. But at times I do take it seriously sometimes on this channel when needed with the right people. You know, so not like back in days when I was doing pure interviews, which I started off as, but as time progressed, I took many times to get people on. It takes a lot of work. It's not an easy thing. I did successfully for 3-4 years, maybe 5 years. You get me? I mean, you have to be attentive to go out your way to search for people, watch their content, ask them if they'll come do it, either free or not, you know. And I was very fortunate after so many years, you know. I mean, I had one person on here that wrote, he was the actual author of the Willie Lynch files. And he's like in his 80s now. But I don't know if he's alive now. But he's the one that actually wrote it, and the Nation of Islam or other people took his manuscript and put it as an actual book. A lot of people think Will Lynch was a real person. No, he was actually created by a black man, which I didn't believe, but I talked to the guy who wrote it, and I believe him. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
But it lets you know, saying the point is this, that most literature you read today, some can be true and some can be made up if you don't know who was someone that wrote it or who's the actual author. You know? You about to, so you go ahead, say something.
I was just gonna say, you know, another story that that people will find shocking, but I really encourage people to go do a deeper dive into is Harriet Tubman. I don't know if Harriet Tubman was a real person or not, man. Like, if you start diving into like the stuff that's written about her, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's really weird. So, like, you're right. We do have to relook at these things that we've been told over and over and do our own research, or at least do a quick search to understand these things a little bit and get various different perspectives. Because that was one that hit me a few years ago when I started looking at Harriet Tubman. I'm like, is this lady a real person? Because her stories does not match up, man. The stuff that we were told when we were kids versus some of the books that are out about her. You look at her Wikipedia page. This lady was like 007 or 007. Like, she was on a whole nother level, bro.
You know, it's funny with Harriet Tubman, right? From her autobiography, same thing. And she did write, because most if you look at old slaves at the time, they were able to read and write. So some of them did write at that time. You get me? The only time we see people that don't write now is probably us in this modern era, because now we have technology, we have ghostwriters, we have people who do the work depending if we're able to make time write. But back then, when you were a slave and you hear about autobiography and stuff, 9/10 of the time, most of them that were living that life have written their own life stories. You get me? On average, because at a time back then, people understand there was not much distraction. All you had back then is either read books or listen to material. You didn't have television back then, so you had a lot of time to do things. But people don't know, you know, back then. Now, you know, a lot of people are distracted now. You can still do things, but you have to break yourself to do these things. You can't. It's not like back then where you could just easily do without the distraction. You're not this way. You're not going to really accomplish or do like the simple things like writing your own biography and all that stuff. Which in times I write a little bit sometimes too, but it's very difficult, bro. It's even now is you have to be focused, you know. And I slacked off a little bit now with it, but at times to do these things, you have to be very focus driven to say, if you're going to do it and stay on the course. Do not veer off.
Yeah.
Anytime you veer off, you're going to find yourself trying to get yourself back on your square, especially when it comes to, let's say, actual writing things, you know? So those that were authors that made even SWP wrote a whole book now. His book you heard about, right? SWP, right?
I know who he is. I didn't know he wrote a book. I haven't checked out his content in a long time. So
listen, he wrote a 12,000 page book that's on Amazon right now. Like, and I asked most of
that's like 4 books, bro. Actually, it's more than that these days. That's crazy.
But you see the problem with that, right? And I'm going to be honest. Like, I asked most of the dudes that do watch his content, right? And have read it. Some said they don't and they will not, because it's like I think that's almost like a whole Bible or something bigger. I don't know what it is, what 1,000 pages, but
It's a lot.
when it gets to 1,000 pages or more, unless you break this down in book form, like 4 books, no average person is going to sit there and read a PDF that's 12,000 or more pages. And here's my thing with authors. If you're not publishing a physical book, you're doing yourself a disservice. Let me explain. The physical book will always last a lifetime. If you do things digital, you put the risk, listen to me good, I'm not saying this is no joke, of any information that you put that's credible will be manipulated and tampered with. You can't tamper with a physical book, but you sure as hell can tamper a digital book. People don't know that. It's computerized. And I'm telling you this because I remember one time a woman had a son that loves to read books, and he knows some books from the physical book to the digital book. He knows there's a misconception between the books that he read. And I didn't think it was possible, but this is like over 10 years ago. So it lets me know, saying, if you're going to come out with any book, make sure it's a physical copy at best. If you had to break it down to different segment books, do so. Never put your material as only digital only. Because anything digital can always be manipulated. I don't care what you say, what you tell me. The best bet, like how we do in the old days to now, create physical books. If it's digital, let it be for secondhand. But you should always have the physical book first. So anytime somebody does try to misinterpret or reinterpret or manipulate what you have read digitally, if they don't got the physical book, they will never know. That's the only safe precaution if you're going to take this book journey and write books. Do not leave it solely on the digital format. I don't care if you're being lazy. If you got the money, you better spend the money and produce a publishing and put out a physical copy of the book. Stop being lazy. If I was going to produce a book, I'm damn sure going to put a physical copy first. Then I'll think about putting a digital copy. I don't do that stupid digital stuff. I got physical books, bro. I can't tell you how much books I got in my room right now. Some I read, some I have not finished read, but I have physical books, and I have very few digital books. The point is this: come out with the physical book. Don't be complacent. Don't think that you put it out. Your job is your job is not done. You have a long way to go talking about something done. You should be the most concerned anything you come out and put out digital form, especially if it has something meaning and something that someone either likes or don't like, can go through your material and say, I don't like what you say. I can remove that, edit, change that. That's how advanced technology has gotten. And this is a process going on the last decade, not now, the last decade. So now with AI now involved, put out digital content out with this artificial intelligence. I guarantee they'll tell it to manipulate your junk. That's how we are. This is where we're at now. So if you got anything factual information that you want the public to know, make sure to come out physical first before anything else. That's how things should move. Stop going through the digital route. Digital route should be secondhand. But if you could write where people could have physical in hand, do so. Don't do this stupid digital nonsense. To me, as a man that read physical books and mess around with digital books here and there, I look at you as an author as lazy and complacent. I don't care if you have 1,000 pages or more. So if you got that much, you could do like anybody else. You break it in segments of books. Like for example, if I could show you how the book, Dennis Sperling book. Matter of fact, I have this book right. Let me show that. There it is. And I probably will show it now. Let me remove myself here. Remove this. That's let me put this here. Let me see if I can share this on my camera. All right, I'm gonna do this. Let's see. All right, let me enough of you guys could see this. Let me move myself upward. See? Don't mind the backwardsness, but this is Dennis Sperling book. And I think in total, this is like maybe close to 1,000 pages, maybe. But the point is this: he has the physical books. These are all physical books. He has digital book, but he focused on the getting out digitally first. So don't be complacent and do this digital thing like this is the end of your work and all be all. No, you break your junk in segments of books, and eventually people buy the collection. Matter of fact, it's better going that route. Make it in segments and chapters of books. That would go further. If you try to look to make money, that's the best route to go. But other than that, don't do that. That stupidness with the digitalization of all one, that I don't agree with it. I don't buy that. So if you're an author or a first time author, don't do that. All right, I guess I don't know if she's here. If she's here, but anything else? Any lasting words, Brandon? Because we have done our time.
No, man, I appreciate you having me. It's always good to swing back and check in with your channel and offer any perspective that I can. I encourage people to check me out. Again, you can just search Universal Jones. That's kind of like a pen name, stage name type of thing for myself. Or you can go to the Be Better Network on YouTube, all one word. You can find myself and the content I'm making there. But again, appreciate you, man. I think that it's time for us to start taking a lot of things more serious, including sexual abuse, whether it's Frank Lucas or the Epstein files. We have children that are being abused and who are in danger all the time, and we have a duty and responsibility as non-predators to do something about it.
Yeah, and it's our responsibility now. If you're not really being more attentive of what your children are doing now and really guard them to the best ability, you're doing them a disservice in the long run. Right. Because we are now in the final stage, which is, I think, in my opinion, we're here now, that the predators, or what you want to call it, the PDFs, or where you want to label it, they are now, they're not getting your children. They already got it. The only thing now is they're trying to condition the next that's coming besides us, Brandon, to make it seem like it's the natural way of life. I know a lot of people were outraged about this. I wasn't, because they're preparing to society, And this is the danger now. And I tell people many times, if you're not an active parent and you're not really schooling your children to what is here and what is to come, you fail, because the society has a way to condition people. And one of the best tools they use is not television now, it's social media. And maybe institutions that really, truly, from what we know already, don't serve our children well. Hell, a lot of people are not being educated now. And I'm not sure why people make this as an issue. The society was never geared to educate you fully or educate you properly. Because if you're educated, how they can consume you? You got to look at the capitalist mindset of what you can do with a society that is truly educated. It does not serve a person that is trying to suck your blood or capitalize on you. The less you know, the less dumb you are, the better you are going to be spending your money with them. That's how it works. And another good book before I let you go, I'm Brandon. This summer I was a circle through the internet. You might not have heard about this guy. He goes by the name of Robert Wilner, and he writes books called Deadly Deceptions, Proof, and Deadly Deceptions, and also write about propaganda.
Okay.
No, my fault. Wrong guy. Sorry, not him. The other dude. Sorry. Oh, damn. His name is, what's his name? No, that's the guy who deals with the Book of AIDS. I'm not talking about that. Another guy. Damn, what is his name? I'm trying to find it. Articles, PDF. I have it here. I know his name. Hold on. A second. Not dark green. Hold on. I gotta pull it up. Is this the one? Nope. Next one. Malcolm Learn, language, dark psychology, Robert Greene. Oh, I think this is the one. No. Let me shrink this. I had his name on here. Project Woodlord, books and digital PF forms. Yeah, I had it here. Let me pull his name up quickly. Let me go on my folder quickly. I had him. I don't know what I did with it. All right, let me switch accounts. I'm gonna pull it up now. All right, his name is, hold on. History. Edward Bernays. Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Edward Bernays.
Yes. And he talks about what it called propaganda, right?
Correct. Yeah.
If y'all remember, now I came across him a week ago, and I know who he was. And then when he came up with the actual book in the late 20th century,
40s.
it made you go. It was it was like 1928, I think. 28. Yep, or 23. One of these years.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to when I was doing some digging. I remember of a black scholar that was in America that was sent back home nearly almost 100 years ago, Marcus Garvey. He talks about propaganda. And I'm looking at this Caucasian man came up with a book a couple years later on propaganda. So let you know, saying, where is people getting these ideas from? Oh, now I found the source. He came up with a full book on propaganda, how to use it. And where he got his ideas from? Take a guess. Marcus Garvey. So propaganda was an invention from them. It was us that came up with this, and they took it and blow it up the way it is now. And Bernays was one of them. He wrote down how to use propaganda effectively in the 20th century. So propaganda is used today more than ever from what this guy has created from the mind and from our works from the scholar like Marcus Garvey. He took what he wrote in letters in a, like, when he was writing articles at the time, took what he wrote and said, I can expand on this and use it as a weapon. And lo and behold, 4 or 5 years later, he came out with a book fully on propaganda, breaking out how to use it properly. So it tells you right there that they use it now in the 21st century, and they're using it now to fully indoctrinate the public. So that's all. All right, Brandon, I'm gonna let you go. You spend enough time with me, We might do it again soon, Like I said, we already do content once a blue moon. I reach out to you, or I go, what you doing,
Yeah.
do these things. But like I said, I come up with content what means something, so I come up and anybody that's available to really have these conversations, you're the right person I can reach out to, or anybody else that is available, But I'm hoping that what I said today, you could probably take it in your channel and expound on it if you want. But that's irrelevant because it's optional. But like I said, I brought this to y'all to have y'all think about it. What is expound about, young black men dealing with, women or older women, the psychological consequence, and really truly that why this discussion is not happening, because our community doesn't see the value of it, because they don't feel that young black boys mean something or it's really important. What happens to them is just irrelevant, but they forgot to say they're a reflection of the community. You do something to them, they do something to the community, which the community don't like. There's always a cause to effects. And we gotta look at the cause and effects, What happens to a young boy that gets introduced to sex early? What is the repercussion of this? What I'm saying? At this society, there's a lot of things that happens, but we're not mature as a society to have this conversation. I am going to have the conversation from time to time, and you're going to have the conversation. Not only you have the conversation, you're going to educate them why, psychologically, why this is, what's the problem. So, thank you, Brandon. We'll do this again soon. And like I said, guys, when you go to his channel, he has Discord service. Join Discord. Like I said, Discord get crazy over there. Not my Discord. My Discord is kind of boring right now. That's fine. But like I said, when you join Discord, don't be surprised when you find what these people are up. I mean, goddamn, I just turn on. I'm getting notifications.
You gotta turn the notifications off, man. My Discord is very active. Salute to everybody who's in there.
I was gonna turn it off, but after I said, let me see what they're saying. And they say something else.
It's hard to ignore, man. We got some good people in that Discord.
I mean, they're good people. They're good people. But like I said, I'm not gonna true. I'm just gonna sit there. I'm just gonna sit back. I'm just here. I don't want to get fined.
Yeah.
I don't want to get fined. I'm just here, just watching y'all's conversation. Y'all have it.
Yeah. Well, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to chime in here and there, man. Some people are all bark, no bite, man. But there's good people in there. We banter, we share good information, we have fun. So.
There's some good information. As a certain chats, I'm not gonna entertain. I'm just gonna say, y'all guys can stick with the conversation. I want to deal with it serious though. I don't want to go back to you dude, you ladies and dudes going back and forth unnecessary. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I'll leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get too rough right there. You know what I'm saying? And I said the men are vicious and the women are vicious. Ooh, damn. I said, I don't know if you lady or you guys in real life, y'all can't talk like that. Y'all gonna fight. Y'all gonna seriously start fighting this. Well, this is
Right.
digital form, so we were safe, but in real person, y'all talking like that. I don't know how y'all
Right.
survive, man.
Man, it's where we are in this new world, man. You got to be online and off at the same time. So,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Take care, man.
appreciate you, man. Take care, bro. Peace.
All right, guys. To everybody today, thank y'all for joining the stream today. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing y'all comments in the comment section of this one. Please give this video a like or hype this video. Let this message be circulate through the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? I might not deserve, but nonetheless, please subscribe and share this content and leave comments if you agree or disagree with what was said today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, and I mean next time to the bottom of my heart. I love y'all. I really truly do. Look at us.
Man, all you hoes. You and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. All you hoes. Don't give a damn what you wanna do.
They like the chaos.
They like the chaos. So when you're able to
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos.
let that chaos reign with,
The chaos
let that chaos reign with,
must reign.